I can give you, but I've exhausted my 5 minutes.
No, no, but yeah, okay. Actually, of course, you can do that, but I'm still doing this because it will be launched in 2 channels. YouTube, one is my personal channel, one is this channel, and then of course in the Zoom chat and in the Zoom meeting. But the issue, what you mentioned previously, I thought I've been discussing by several ambassadors, and I thought that neutrality is the main issue. But now I see it looks like the issue become in the next level of stage global power or global orders. That's the impression that I get.
Absolutely, because now actually we're seeing how those who want to preserve this situation when they are promoting their own interest and economic prosperity, actually, an economic interest. The West actually, well, in the sense that we've identified.
I understand. I think I understand that.
Identified. For centuries, they based their own prosperity on exploitation of other countries. Here in Indonesia, you know that better than many other countries, because they pumped natural resources from the countries. They exploited the labor in these countries, and now it has changed. But they want to preserve it, this situation, and with the other countries that want to, have equal partnership, equal kind of relations with the Western countries. Again, the values. The values that the Europe say is now promoting, we don't agree with them. And I know that Indonesia doesn't agree with them. And by values, I mean something that is more precious than a human life. For instance, religion. Where is the place of religion in the Western society? Practically nowhere. It's not relevant.
Yeah,
family.
It's about religion. It's interesting.
Family values. Where are the family values in Europe? LGBT agenda? We don't agree with that. Okay, we're not homophobic. Whatever you do, you can do in your house. But why promote this agenda so aggressively as a norm? For instance, I have a daughter, she's married, and I don't want my grandchildren to have parent 1, parent 2. I want them to have mother and father. Our society is a traditional one. In this sense, we're closer to the Muslim world, of course. In Islam, you have very well defined values. Or, for instance, we don't put our parents in homes. It's not looked well upon in our society. We take care of our children. Our grandfathers and grandmothers take care of their grandchildren. So family values are very important for us. Religion is very important for us. And these values are destroyed in the West. And they use human rights as a weapon to attack other countries.
Oh.
So it's a matter of global transformation.
So, like this country, it's normally conservative value, like tradition, religions, family value. But I know in developed country, some modern country, normally it become more liberal. Is that what you try to
Absolutely,
say?
but liberal is a very mild word to describe what is happening, because sometimes it's absolutely unacceptable what kind of values are being promoted. Of course, tolerance is great, but there is limit to anything.
But your statement is more on philosophical or ideological.
But it is what is happening actually.
So it's not about military. It's not
only about that, of course. Actually, the military option is always the worst. No one can argue with that. War is bad. How can you argue with that? War is bad. In Russia, we know that very well. You know that we lost 27 million lives in World War II. We know what war is. Actually, we saved Europe from fascism, from Nazi ideology. We we liberated Europe from fascism. But sometimes you have to take drastic measures in order to prevent something worse from happening. So that's the reason of this military operation.
This is interesting because this country, your country, is the winner of the World War II. Yes. It's like the United States. And I live in Europe during 1890s. It's Cold War and then Perestroika, Glasnost, Berlin Wall.
Yeah.
And of course, issue of Cold War, Western, and how you call we please try to resolve the negotiation process and anything that we can do. But then now is issue, it's about what they call, I think it's class of civilization.
Yes,
meaning
basically, yes, it is. It's a transformation of the world order.
So it's like there is no one hegemony, there is no Western hegemony. There will be, I don't know, probably Russia, China.
No,
Indonesia is not.
No, we're not seeking hegemony. The big difference between this new raising, I will not speak about China, but China is our strategic partner, of course. But I'm speaking about Russia. We were never seeking hegemony. It's not what we need. We want to live in peace and in cooperation with all our partners, but in an equal way. We don't want to take orders from Washington or Brussels. We are a great country. We're the biggest country in the world. We have everything. We have energy. We have food. We are self-sufficient in food products. We have a very well-educated population. We have a developed industry. We have everything. Why should we take orders from someone who doesn't care about Russians or Ukrainians? The only thing that they care is about their own prosperity. So I think it's quite logical. You know, if you want to even explore the deeper causes, we go back 30 years ago. The collapse of the Soviet Union.
1990, yes.
Yes, 1991, and even earlier. In 1989, President Gorbachev agreed that we will not oppose the reunification of Germany. You live in Europe, you know that.
SRT?
Huh?
What's the
reunification of Germany? You know, after World War II, as a result of World War II, Germany was separated into countries.
Yes.
And we had our troops in eastern part of Germany.
Yeah.
In 1989, Gorbachev agrees with President Bush that Germany can reunite and we will withdraw troops from Eastern Germany. In response, NATO and the Warsaw Pact, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, was dissolved. In return, NATO will commit not to expand towards our borders. Okay? Gorbachev asks Bush to sign an agreement. Bush says, no, you believe our word. So we withdraw troops from Eastern Germany. We commit to our obligation. Germany reunites, but United States and NATO, they don't fulfill their promises. Actually, they lied, because from 1999 to 2022, there were 5 rounds of expansion of NATO, 5 rounds. So NATO was coming closer and closer to the border of Russia. It's not we that were going to Mexico, Canada, and putting our missiles there. No, it's the NATO that was coming closer and closer to Russia. And the red line for us was Ukraine to become member of NATO. And Zelensky just declared that Ukraine has the intention to become a member of NATO, and everyone said, yes, 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 we also in the future. But for us, it's a red line. And it's also very easy to understand if you look at the map. Ukraine is a very big country. It's the biggest country in Europe after Russia. It's bigger than France. We have a 2,000 kilometers border with Ukraine. If NATO brings its infrastructure to the border with Russia, 2 minutes missiles hit Moscow. Can we feel not threatened by that? Of course. And how can we consider NATO to be a defense alliance? It's not. It's an aggressive pact. And we've seen numerous examples of that. You remember what they did in Yugoslavia in 1999? They bombed the country for 78 days. They destroyed the civilian infrastructure. Around 3,000 people died. They used depleted uranium bombs in Yugoslavia. It's not nuclear, but it's depleted uranium, which causes cancer. So if you are not killed by the bomb, you and your children will have cancer. And now there's a high rate of cancer in Serbia because of these bombings in 1999. Where are the sanctions? Where is this hysterical reaction? You know, okay, Yugoslavia. Then Iraq. You remember this fake proof that there was a weapon of mass destruction? Then they actually acknowledged that there was no such thing in Iraq. You know how many civilians were killed in Iraq by NATO? Around 1 million.
1 million?
Around, there are different estimates from 600,000 to 1 million. Where is the hysterical reaction of the international community? Why is no one applying sanctions and, you know, saying that Bush is a war criminal? He was indeed a war criminal. Tony Blair is a war criminal. No such things. Just killing people in Iraq, and it's okay. Then Libya, killing Gaddafi. Okay, Gaddafi was not the most democratic of leaders, but Libya was prospering under Gaddafi. The social security level, I wish we had such, such a system. Country completely destroyed, thousands of people killed. Then comes Syria. They tried to do the same thing in Syria, we protected Syria. Afghanistan, 20 years in Afghanistan. Okay, why is no one being hysterical about Israel attacking Palestine? Where are these sanctions? Where is this hysterical reaction? Where is this accusation of war crimes? Why is that? Because Ukrainians are Europeans, and those who died in Iraq and Afghanistan are not Europeans. So what kind of human rights or democracy is that? Or it's a double standards? That's what I mean. We don't agree with the world order that allows such thing to happen. Because what they want is to control the world so they can do whatever they want. You know, the recent statement by Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, that he will not sit at the same table with the leader of the country that invaded other countries. Who's he talking about? Biden? You know that in the recent 30 years, United States attacked military around 30 countries.
But Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, I think is not metaphorically saying he must be pointed to one particular country, because he's talking about at present, right?
Yes, he was talking about Putin, but in response, why he's not mentioning Biden or he's not mentioning Boris Johnson?
Because Australia is a line of the...
Absolutely.
Okay.
So
okay,
because this is a blatant example of double standard. That's what I mean, that we don't agree with this world order. Again, the military option, of course, it's not the best one. It was a very hard decision by President Putin, but we are protecting ourselves. We are protecting the independence and the security of our country, which is being attacked. Of course, United States and Europe, they don't want to confront Russia directly, because it will mean what?
No.
World War III, nuclear.
Should not happen.
Of course.
Because that's what I think other part of the world that didn't want. And that's a responsibility of United States and Russia.
Yes, but
because we are not, because it's more difficult than previous. I thought we should resolve the issue of Ukraine, but now it's
not about Ukraine. It's about the Western hegemony, basically.
Because last time I thought the negotiation is about Russia and Ukraine.
We're ready to negotiate with the Ukrainians, but now we see that they have no intention to reach an agreement because Washington and Brussels don't allow them. Because they want this conflict to last. Look, if you analyze a conflict, you need to find out who will benefit. Who will be the winner? Who is benefiting by this crisis? Russia? Yes, in a sense that when the operation will be completed, and it will be completed.
But take my country, I think Indonesia will not benefit.
Absolutely. Russia, we will benefit in a sense that we will feel secure.
I understand that.
But we will have a lot of losses. I mean, human lives, first of all, also economically. Ukraine, of course, not. Loss of human lives, destruction of infrastructure, military,
and the economic sanction.
Yeah.
And now changing the world order.
Europe? Not really, because economic sanctions are hurting them.
Yeah.
Who will benefit? United States. United States, because what they will, at the end, what they're trying to do is to tear Europe away from Russia and to make Europe totally dependent on the United States, both military and economically. So basically the only country that will benefit from this situation is the United States. And they are fueling this conflict as much as possible.
So you pointed to the United States that will take profit on what happened.
Absolutely, and they are because European Union is very tightly economically we have tight economic relations with the European Union. They're very dependent on oil and gas from Russia. United States, no. So United States are trying to sell the much more expensive gas to Europe. It will be much more expensive. Of course, Europe is not willing to buy. But if all these economic sanctions are applied and Russia is being portrayed as a very bad guy, they have no other option but to turn to the United States.
You said that the United States take profit on this situation.
Absolutely.
But President Putin who starts, only United States to take profit. Or President Putin do this because intentionally done by Ukraine was motivated by United States. That's okay.
Yes, because we were pushed into this situation. We didn't want that. We were trying to resolve this crisis by peaceful means for 8 years after 2014. 8 years we've been trying to resolve this crisis by peaceful means.
Because
no way.
I consider myself as concerned global citizen, meaning the issue of what happened there should be resolved as soon as possible.
That's our wish too.
And of course, my country, I think, is not a big player like your country or United States, but it's our responsibility to resolve. If it seems to me it's more difficult than it looks.
It is by not supporting the Western policies, and we're appreciative that you haven't joined sanctions, that you've abstained during the vote of the Human Rights Council. And please don't, it's not I'm not now giving you the official position of my own government. It's my own thoughts that in this situation, sooner take orders from a third country and just follow the policies that very often is against your own interest. That would be the choice. That's what we are trying to avoid. We have our own interest. We want to be independent in the real sense of this word. So our government can act in the interest of our own people and not in the interest of the people of some third country.
Agree, because it seems to me what happened, I think, after World War II is like a bipolar, what happened in the world.
Absolutely.
But now probably it's going to be, you resist on the one polar, probably it's multipolar, meaning there will be a lot of your country, China, Europe, United States, or other line country, or maybe Mexico, Brazil, India. I think that's what happened. But I think since you are a diplomat, and of course, your country is famous of chess player, that you can do step calculating what happened in the next step. So what will be step of your country, United States, in the next next 1 year?
Oh, I don't know. I cannot tell you that. I can tell you what will happen with Ukraine. We will complete our operation in Ukraine. That's
so it's done?
No, we will. It's going on. It's going on. But we will complete. We will reach the targets that have been identified by our president. That's for sure. Maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit sooner, but it will be completed, and we will ensure our security and our sovereignty. And on the economic sanctions, we've learned our lessons also that actually we cannot trust our Western partners, because with all these sanctions, they are absolutely legitimate. There is no law in the world that can allow this kind of things happen, because the only body in the world that can impose sanctions is the Security Council. What is happening now, it's absolutely, unreasonable because they are hurting themselves. They are destroying the trade system that has been created for decades. They're destroying the supply chains in the world. All the countries, including Indonesia, can feel that. It's not because of what we're doing in Ukraine. It's what the West is doing by applying these sanctions. They thought, okay, what is the goal of the sanctions?
To change the position of
the government. Yeah. To change the position of the government. True. If you look in the history, has it ever changed the position of any country? We're not the first country that sanctions have been applied against.
But today, probably, supposed to be affected more than the previous one because of the scales. And I just read economic global perspective for next year. I think done by Indonesian Central Bank, the Governor Central Bank. The global projection previously 4.2 something%, but now it's like 3.2%.
Say thank you to the United States and their allies.
Yeah, but the 1% was affected because of COVID, and of course because of what happened there.
Yeah.
And of course because of the responsibility of the whole country that cannot resolve this because it's supposed to be. And what happened? There will be some job loss in other parts of the world.
Look, the sanctions would have been applied nevertheless. The situation in Ukraine or no situation in Ukraine, the sanctions would have been applied because in the last 8 years, we've seen more and more and more sanctions. Maybe they would have been introduced more gradually, but they would have been applied in any case. So I want to continue my idea that we're not the first country that sanctions have been applied against. Iran, Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union, for 70 years we've been under sanctions. And so
Soviet Union for what?
Soviet Union was under sanctions for 70 years.
Okay, I didn't follow. What happened during the Soviet Union era? Was sanctioned by who?
By the West, where we were always under sanctions. Have you heard about the Iron Curtain? It was
Iron Curtain. Okay, yeah. Understand. Yeah,
it was sanctions too.
Yeah, okay.
And the Soviet Union was a superpower. So and we are.
But it's not an economic sanctions. Is it
economic sanctions as
it's
well?
Not political. No.
Political, economic sanctions. We were the Soviet Union. I was born in the Soviet Union. We were under sanctions. So has it ever made change? The government is false, never, ever. So the real intention is actually to hurt the people. So probably they will revolt and change the government, okay? If you hurt the people, they're not happy with the economic situation, they will try to change the government. What kind of policies are there? What is democratic or, where human rights in this that the West is trying to make everyone believe that they care about? It's not true. They don't care about people.
Yeah.
Okay. Now for the sanctions, our economy turned out to be quite resilient.
Yeah, you play energy sector, military sector. Soviet Union is big country.
So of course, I'm not telling you.
Sorry,
Russia. Yeah, of course, I'm not telling that the sanctions will not hurt. They will, but we will overcome. We will adjust. What our government is doing now is working out measures to adapt our economy to this new situation. And of course, we're not isolated. Whatever they are saying. We have China, which is our partner. We have ASEAN countries who are partners. India didn't join the sanctions. We have Latin American. We have Middle East, not a single Muslim country joined the sanctions. African countries. Europe and United States, Canada, Australia is not the whole world. Even not the majority of the world. So how can you isolate or suffocate such a country? We're the biggest country in the world territory. It's impossible.
I understand. Got the message. I got the message, of course. Yes, your country is big country. There will be, it's difficult, meaning new normal and new equilibrium. That's wow. Because I think as soon as like life back to normal, but now your projection, it will be new equilibrium.
We hope so. We hope so. Because our president was very clear in saying that we had no other option because, first of all, we need to protect the people of Lugansk and Donetsk. If you want me to tell you the story about what is this cause, I will, but it will take some time.
I know about what happened. I read what happened in Lugansk, but then I understand that the Russian army is now withdraw from Kiev. Is that because already some military operation given it's already success, and then came back to eastern part of
Donetsk, Lugansk, yes.
Yeah.
You see, okay, we go back a little bit. In 2014, there was a change in the regime.
Yes.
And it was a coup d'etat, supported by the West and staged by the West. And as a result of this coup d'etat, a very Russophobic government came to power, Poroshenko. Yanukovych was ousted, and Poroshenko came to power. And immediately it was clear after that that this government is not an independent player. They're just following the rules that are set by Brussels and Washington. And what they were starting to do immediately is to press Russians in Ukraine. And Ukraine is, every Ukrainian can speak Russian. Maybe around 50% of Ukrainians are Russian, ethnic Russians. They're Russian, Ukrainian, but
yes, I read that.
And how can you, for instance, try to introduce a law banning Russian language? It's like banning French in Belgium, or in English in Ireland, or I don't know, Japanese in Java, in Indonesia. Impossible. So, and also there in Ukraine at that time, there were 3 regions that were predominantly Russian. It's Crimea, it's Lugansk and Donetsk. Population 90% Russian. And of course, they didn't agree with these policies. And they started to protest. But instead of trying to solve this situation by, you know, compromise, by working out some measures, Kiev chose a military option, and they sent troops to Lugansk and Donetsk. With Crimea, it voted, there was a referendum, and the population of Crimea voted in favor of going back to Russia. And Crimea was always Russian. And we protected Crimea. But Lugansk and Donetsk, they proclaimed independence, and Ukraine, Kiev, sent the troops. For 8 years, there was a war in Lugansk and Donetsk. Where is the hysterical reaction of the West? People were being killed every day by Ukrainians. 14,000 people died. Where are the sanctions against Ukraine? Where are all this, you know, hysteria, war crimes? They were war crimes committed there every day by Ukrainian army. Nothing. Because they said that Kiev has the right to, these are separatists. They have the right to military get back this region. Okay, another example of double standards. So the West was okay with Kiev trying to retrieve these 2 separatist regions by force. Okay, no problem with that. What about China and Taiwan? So Kiev has the right to use military force to retrieve Lugansk and Donetsk, but China doesn't have the right to use military force to retrieve Taiwan.
Because Taiwan, it's become part of the other alliance. Is it what you want? Okay.
That's just double standard. It's a situation is basically the same, but
Taiwan is a country, right? It's recognized by you?
No,
it's not recognized.
No.
Okay.
Even the
I'm not the diplomat.
Even the United States don't recognize Taiwan as an independent country. It's one China policy.
Okay, I've been in Taiwan. I'm using my passport, but I didn't couple years.
Not with the exception, I don't know, maybe just some small island state of the Pacific recognized, but United States, no. European Union, they don't recognize Taiwan as an independent country. Okay, it's just, you know,
so
it's going back to
doing that parallel, meaning China and Taiwan is like Crimea and Ukraine.
like
so it doesn't
Kiev
have a right. Yeah. Kyiv doesn't
have Kiev has the right,
okay.
and China doesn't have the right.
That's
So where is
point.
the logic? Where is the logic? No logic. Okay. So for 8 years there was a war going on. For 8 years, Russia has tried to solve this crisis by peaceful means. We initiated the Minsk agreements in 2014 to
Minsk 1 and Minsk 2. Yes,
we initiated this agreement. We tried to help to solve this problem inside Ukraine, because Kiev thought that these regions were still part of Ukraine. So the Minsk agreements provide a very clear way how to solve this situation, to solve this crisis inside Ukraine. For instance, Kiev should have adopted a law on autonomous status of these two regions. It is in the Minsk agreement, but Kiev never followed this Minsk agreement. For 8 years, we've tried to push Kiev to stop attacking Lugansk and Donetsk, their own people actually. It was a civil war. And they refused, and they accused us of breaching the Minsk agreements while we were not part of these agreements. And we were urging the West also to push Kiev to fulfill these agreements. No result. People were still dying. And now it's information that we have from our Minister of Defense that, on the contrary, Kiev in March was planning a massive attack on Donetsk and Lugansk and Crimea.
Months ago.
Massive attack, yeah. It's already after this. There were plans for Kiev to attack
on March.
Last month. Lugansk and Donetsk and Crimea. Imagine if Kiev attacked Crimea, it would have been brought a lot of bloodshed and victims, much more. So than we see now. So by this operation, we are trying to prevent a bigger conflict from happening. And unfortunately, the West is fueling, pouring oil in this fire by providing arms, by training Ukrainian army. There's a lot. We already see so many foreign instructors and mercenaries in Ukraine. So they're trying to fuel this conflict more and more, especially the United States. So who is the benefit? Who will benefit again?
Okay, I think I got the message. I live in Asia, in Indonesia, it's part of Asia, and Europe, it's a bit far from us. And I thought,
but you're affected.
Yeah, that's why. Should be done or resolved by the European, but then affected around the world. And now we dragging into the situation, a lot of the discussion, and should be. I do not know. That's what. And now, Indonesia, by constitution, there have to be free and active participation on issue of international relations. So it's our constitution.
Yes, we know.
And because of that, there is a G20 meeting.
Yeah.
And I know G20 probably one of the most important meeting other than the United Nations. Only G20 is an economic issue only, and Indonesian government is chair or president for this meeting. And since you understand the Indonesian cultures, normally we don't want to have a conflict, get with harmony and BSAE in international podium. So you live here for years, understand Indonesian cultures. What do you think is the best move forward with this risk of changing world order, multipolar issue?
Well,
at the same time, 1% decrease in global growth.
Well, I think, G20, and we do agree absolutely with the position of Indonesia. G20 is the perfect place actually to discuss all the global economic and financial issues. How to prevent the decrease, how to recover, how to strengthen the healthcare system, how to have this digital transformation, how to have this energy transition. We support all the priorities of the G20 presidency of Indonesia. We've been supporting it from the very first day. And also what is very important for us is that the Indonesia is representing the voice of developing countries, because developing countries also need to have a say in what is happening in the world, not just the G7, group. Everyone has the right to have a say and its interest to be taken into account. So we really we support what Indonesia is doing as the president of this. So when not the majority, the minority of G20 members are trying to drag Ukrainian crisis into agenda of the G20, what will be the added value of that? It will divert the attention from solving this very important global issues to discussions that will not lead to anything. We really support that G20 should focus on economic issues. The politics, the Security Council, UN Security Council, the UN, G20 Economic Forum. We should concentrate on economic forum. If you ask me about the boycott, the threats of boycotting the G20 by other countries, not coming to G20 meetings,
Some countries give a signal that they don't
want to come. If Russia comes, okay, again, you may not agree with what we are doing in Ukraine, okay, but how will it help to solve anything by not coming, not participating?
This is the opportunity. At least you use the opportunity.
At least, discuss, make your opinion known.
Maybe not success, but at least try.
At least
you have your only once a year, right?
Okay, Agree. But also focus on the economic issues.
But that's difficult because economic and political issue is intertwined.
Absolutely, but still you can really, what I'm saying, if you just want to accuse,
agree.
Then no point in coming. If
So,
you want to discuss in a constructive way the economic situation,
agree.
That's another story.
You need to have some face-to-face meeting like this and discuss, probably be multi-country, big country, and this is the opportunity. So probably behind the door, I do not know, but that's the best way that we can have this year. Probably next year it's different effects. I agree. And I think our country, Indonesia, my country, probably, I'm not sure, because normally the citizen will leave to the Indonesian government to decide what will be the priority. But it seems to me, when I read the media, it's like what we have discussed. There will be invitation, people come because that's their right, some discussion. And of course, it's calculated risk for both sides. Indonesia, because it's duty to invite, also for they are not guests, they are also have the right to come. And I really look forward to what happened in November or October this year. And it seems to me everything is more clearer. I hope within 1 more month to come, there will be more clear. And actually, I really expect about the negotiation process. What happened already? How many times?
Five rounds. We are in negotiation process online with Ukrainians, but It's going on.
So online. So it's previously I read it, that's
it was offline in Istanbul, but there were some meetings online as well. But the problem is that we don't see the intention from Ukrainian side to reach an agreement.
Why is not President Putin and President Zelensky doing online?
Because before the presidents meet, there should be some results from the negotiation.
Because that is the use of negotiation. You can fight, you can discuss this.
Absolutely, but
military operation.
But absolutely, but
lives.
You are right, but before our presidents, well, President Zelensky and President Putin meet, they should be resolved what they would discuss. You know.
So you mean the agenda is not stated here?
Yeah, the agenda is there, but there should be some points of for you know,
converge.
Yeah, convergence. Yeah, but if there are not yet reached, what the presidents can discuss, you know, because you know, it's not only now, but whenever the presidents, the leaders meet, there is a preparation for these meetings. It's not that the presidents meet and they just start to argue, you know, and to the meetings, if you want, you know, if it's just meeting for the sake of the meeting, that's okay. But it's not the way it's done with the leaders of the countries. They need to have something to, you know, to approve.
But is that the typical job of diplomat?
Yes,
to do this,
but we have a delegation and our diplomats are participating. Yeah.
I read the news that some president call President Putin, also some president call President Zelensky.
Yeah.
But how come it's not just I facilitate medias and using 3-call meeting by phone or by Zoom meeting for it? Because it's your country responsibility and also Ukraine responsibility.
Tell that to the Ukrainians, please.
Because Indonesia is not, but of course it's not everybody responsibility, because otherwise our world it's become more difficult.
Absolutely, but first of all, it's responsibility to our own people, to Russian people, because we don't want to be threatened. We don't want to. Again, it all comes to, you know, we are protecting our country, basically. We're protecting our sovereignty, our independence, because if we don't protect it, we will be attacked we will be destroyed by the West. And that's what we don't want to happen.
I do believe that your country, your president has a higher approval rate.
Oh, yes.
I think
yes.
Zelensky, President Zelensky also
high
approval rate, meaning that there is no, I mean, so there is a move forward. That's what I thought. But then it's responsibility of leaders try to resolve, because they have a bigger responsibility. Bigger power have a bigger responsibility.
I think our president, he is very well aware of that.
Yeah, actually, your president, President Putin, is, I think, in my country, in Indonesia, is well known.
Yes.
One of the reasons it's because the Ura video, you understand, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a month ago, there is a viral video about Ura.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe you following what happened in the media. Actually, basically, President Putin gave a speech, but then we talk about what happened in Indonesia. It's about the palm oil, the cooking oil scarcity in Indonesia. And it's very funny, and everybody understand the message. So I think watch million people. But then that's why the reason I understand that it's supposed to be in this country is like 50-50. Previously, I do not know how many people is pro and con, but by saying this is said in this country is like, that's why I say it's better to say it's not only take the side, but it's our responsibility to resolve this as a global citizen. And by doing what is Ura mean?
Ura, it's
Ura.
Ura, yeah, Ura. It's actually it doesn't have you know a meaning, a word that has you know it's an emotional manifestation of readiness to fight, strong spirit, and joy, I would say. For instance, when the troops attack, they cry "Ura!" and they, you know,
So it's not hooray, hurrah.
It's something like
something
that.
Like
hooray,
that.
hooray, yeah, hooray. Actually it's a very old, probably Sanskrit word that is a emotional manifestation of having strong spirit, readiness to fight, and joy. In sometimes, you know, when something good happens, you can say, cry "Ura! Ura! We are happy. We're happy."
So Ura is not a military direction,
No,
it's just an normal expression.
It's in a, yes, in just part of it used by the military, you know, but also in just ordinary life. Ura, it means we're happy. Something good happened. Ura, we're very happy.
Wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow. But that's one Russian word that I think most Indonesians now understand.
Yes.
And become powerful. What do you expect from Indonesia as the G20 presidency?
To go on with the agenda that has been agreed upon, not to give in to the pressure applied by other countries, and we will support Indonesia.
Other comment about what happened with Ibu Kartini?
Well,
I'm just trying. Because I know you are famous now, face in Indonesia, because you are female and ambassador.
Yeah, thank you. Well, you know, in Russia we have also a holiday. It's on 8th of March. It was last month. It's the International Women's Day. Since the 60s in Russia, we've been celebrating it, and it's a national holiday when women and men don't work. It's a national holiday.
So it's more rigorous than our country.
Yes, and this day, you know, all men, they give flowers to their wives, mothers.
So it's like Mother Day.
It's like a mother, but it's you know, it's bigger. All women, from, you know, babies to grandmothers, are celebrated, are congratulated this day, and it's a very big thing in Russia. Also, the root of this it was you know, in the last century, no, not the last, but the 19th century, when women were fighting for their rights, and there were big demonstrations in some countries. So we've chosen this day as a symbol of the fight of women for their rights. But it became something more. It's like celebration of women empowerment, of women, and men show appreciation to their women for what they're doing. But I don't understand why just once a year it should be.
So my wife and my mom will be happy to do that.
But that's the tradition that has been there since the 60s, more than 60 years in our country. So we have a similar day, but it is officially recognized as a national holiday.
National holiday. I think Hari Kartini long time ago is also national holiday.
Yeah.
And every children in Indonesia, they have to wear probably batik, and probably wearing the female costume, the appropriate one, and that's what happened. I think the past, and still I think still today run in this country. That's Ibu Kartini. And since I know you already posted twice as an ambassador,
yes,
and 4 years already in Indonesia.
Yes.
How many years come you serve?
It's hard to say. Usually our term of duty is from 3 to 5 years, but we don't have any official limits. it depends on this. I would love to stay more.
Because your most difficult task is about the G20.
Well, yeah,
in
but
Indonesia.
Well, not only G20. There's a lot of events.
Yeah. I know you gave a speech, a lot of talk.
Yes, but we're looking forward, of course, to the G20 summit, and we hope that our president can come.
Oh, we are really looking forward. I think Indonesian, I don't know what happened in the Jambon, that the office of Ibu Retno, but everything is normally, we can read in the newspaper, and it's the pulse normally can be predicted. That's why I think I have to end my discussion. I have to thank you very much for your coming. But if you want to have your closing speech to Indonesian.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. And of course, in Russia, we see Indonesia as a very good friend and partner since the 60s. President Sukarno visited our country 4 times.
4 times, yes.
4 times, yes. And since then, I love this. The song Rayon Pulau Kelapa became very famous in Russia.
Can you sing the Rayon Pulau Kelapa? Melambai.
I can sing you in Russian.
Oh.
Yeah, it has been translated into Russian. And in the 60s, most of the people in Russia knew this song. And in Russian, the title of the song is Indonesia, My Love. That just shows the feeling that Russians have
60 Indonesian and Russia have very close.
But still, we have this feeling towards Indonesia. Of course, in the young people, they know Bali, and they just love Bali. But still, the feeling that Indonesians are our friends is there. So, and we cherish this relationship with Indonesia. Indonesia is very important for us. It's the key country among ASEAN, and we're strategic partners with ASEAN. Indonesia is one of the leading Muslims country, and we also have a large Muslim population. So Indonesia is very important in all sense, and I really hope that our relation will get stronger.
I think so. I hope so that Indonesia and Russia collaboration or cooperation will be strengthened, and also, of course, the problem of Russia and Ukraine should be resolved as soon as possible.
It will be resolved, believe me.
I hope that my generation will have more peace and order in the global world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Madam Speaker. Oh. There is some people who want to ask a question from YouTube Live or from Zoom chat.
Zoom chat.
Can you? I read the question, or they want to give a public. Who? Sorry. Oh, Alex. Alex. I give the floor to you. Please just use. Oh, through chatting.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Oh, I thought.
Okay, thank you so much. It was a very wonderful discussion and also interview.
No.
I really appreciate.
But Lisa, please make it louder. I can't hear Alex question.
Yeah, hello. Hello, test. Hello.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So I'm not a journalist, so we're just doing this normally for a friend, circle of friend, 4,000 people.
Small circle of friends.
Small circle. Yeah, small circle.
Yes.
But because this issue,
I can speak now. Clearly, yeah. Yes, it was a very interesting and very remarkable discussion regarding this. I really appreciate Madam Excellency for being very fast or fast response in accepting our invitation. It's really efficient and very effective. And actually. I inviting also some of my friends from Italy, from even from China, from Singapore.
Do they have a question, Alex?
From Germany, yeah.
Alex.
My question only that actually I just want to take a little bit a break about the situation. I mean, I just wondering, I mean, what actually your impression about Indonesian people? Because I know that you have been here for 4 years. So I just wondering, I mean, yeah. So what is your expression about Indonesian people? What do you find about Indonesia from us actually? Our character or our how you can explain about your permanent in 4 years in Indonesia? Thank you so much, Excellency. Thank you, Pak Oni.
Well, thank you so much for this question. I like Indonesia very much. I'm absolutely sincere and frank in saying that for me, when I came to Indonesia, it was love at first sight. I spent 28 years in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, in Laos, in Malaysia, but I'm really, really happy that I'm in Indonesia, and I like Indonesians very much. What I like about Indonesians, they are very open, they are very friendly, and at the same time, very diplomatic, avoiding, conflicts and confrontation. And as I was raised up by a Thai nanny, and this is in my character too. Yeah, so I really feel in Indonesia very comfortable, I would say, among Indonesian people. I try to travel a lot in Indonesia, and wherever I came, I always found Indonesians very nice, very friendly, very generous, actually. So I have the best impressions about Indonesian people, and I really want to stay more in Indonesia. Of course, it will depend on Moscow, how long I will be staying here, but I really enjoy my and I'm not being diplomatic right now. It's coming from my heart.
Thank you, Pa Alex. I think your first is also the last question. I know some people send warm regards to Ambassador Lyudmila. Thanks for interesting discussion from Italy. So some people also watching from the other part of the world.
Thank you so much,
Ambassador.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, this is a present from our organization, Ikatan Alumni for Habibie.
Thank you so much.
Just customary.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you want to discuss other issues,
yes, we can go to